one could assert that, you know, our current laws protect women's right to choose. We could assert that, you know, people that are running have said that this right is in existence. But haven't we heard that before?
Well, yeah, we've heard it for 50 years. You know, clearly, just what happened. I remember having a conversation with you at dinner one evening where we were talking about this before the Dobbs decision came out, and I was telling you that I was skeptical of the fact that it would be overturned because I couldn't really conceive of a legitimate legal justification for overturning it. The only thing, and I think I may have said this at the time, the only thing I think that they could fall back on was the old states' rights argument. And I think that opens up a whole can of problems. And I agree still with that. I think there are a whole can of problems. The biggest problem is that right now, since state laws are just as subject to transformation as federal laws, we are not guaranteed anything. The only times we're, for the most part, guaranteed things is once they become constitutional, either through an amendment or through a reconstruction of the Constitution entirely. Connecticut's law that protects women, safe haven law, all of that sort of stuff, none of it is constitutional, which means if for whatever reason an opposing party decides to make that their platform, they can do that in Connecticut. It's not safe. We have to amend the Constitution in Connecticut to ensure that that's something that won't be affected as easily by future legislations and by future people who are changing. In 2018, Connecticut's state senate was locked at 18-18. It was in parity. So that's not that far ago. Now we're acting like somehow it's not a big deal because we have, I think, 24-14 or something like that. It's a guaranteed thing. We're winning all of this stuff. Nothing's guaranteed. Literally within 4 years, we were at parity. There's nothing that stops that from changing if the voters come out and decide they want to pair that up again. So it's important this election to make sure that we continue doing two things. Number one, pressing the issues that are important. Number two, making sure that we can vote enough people in who represent those ideals that we want, that we can potentially get constitutionality for some of these rules, so that we can say that Connecticut won't have to visit this question again for another 100 years, at least.